Sports psychology is a subspecialty of psychology that really focuses on training the mind, because sports are challenging, emotionally challenging. There's pressure situations, and as human beings, all of us have that breaking point, So if you're really, really proactive in training your mind to kind of deal with any situation that might come up so that you can still perform, the chances are you're going to be a more consistent high performer.
Every team has weight trainers and dietitians, and every team is practicing. Every team is doing all the stuff on the court, on the field, in the gym that you need to do to be able to succeed, pretty much across the country. The next level, what separates good from great, is between your ears. At every sport, at every level. So one of the most important things with having our athletes be able to meet with Dr. Julie and Dr. Mike is that not only are they professionals and they've met with hundreds of student athletes, but they've also met with hundreds of now Princeton student athletes. So when an athlete goes and sits down with them and says, hey, I'm having this negative thought, I'm worried about this, the first thing they do, that they can do, is validate it. That's normal. That's what everyone else feels and thinks. And the kid goes, oh, it's not just me. They have that breadth of knowledge to say, yeah, everyone has that thought. You're good. You can still be an All-American. You're gonna let that thought go and you're gonna focus on this. And so having those two professionals with our program and be available to all sports really puts Princeton above a lot of other teams in the country.
We talk about the clinical side, we're talking about mental health issues and how stressors impact the athlete. And then on the performance side, talking about all the issues that athletes might go through due to their participation in sports, such as performance anxiety, dealing with injuries, things like that are directly related to sport participation. And I think there's a huge recognition that you need to be able to not only train your body, not only train your craft, but also be able to train your mind.
It's a resource for athletes to talk to where they're not tied specifically to any piece of their life already. So that's been really helpful for me individually, but also for the team to strive and move forward with the mental aspect of our game and our performance.
Going to see Dr. Gross a handful of times has really helped me with my on-field performance. And I really credit that a lot to being able to play a little bit better this year, and have really just helped me lock in on the field and really just focus in on the task at hand.
I do think Princeton Tiger Performance has set out a model that is extremely accessible to be able to access different resources, and that's such an important thing to be able to, for student athletes to have these different resources available to them. One of which, of course, is sports psychology, and for years now, student athletes have been saying that mental health is one of their number one concerns. So having this accessibility, having two sports psychologists housed in where athletes are housed in Jadwin is such a huge part of this model, and the collaboration between these different departments coming together to form Princeton Tiger Performance, I think sets it apart from the vast majority out there.
Being the cream of the crop of the Ivy League as it is, Princeton's always looking for ways to stay ahead of everybody else. And I think this is one of the ways Princeton has really tried to invest in their athletes and their athletic programs by providing this resource. So, as an athlete, they're already really bright kids who are coming here and really talented athletically, but if you can gain a competitive advantage with respect to training your mind, why wouldn't you do that? So I think a lot of the athletes here are really invested in developing techniques and strategies to just outperform their competition. So whether that's understanding sleep better and how sleep contributes to high performance, whether that's understanding how to regulate arousal before competition, not getting too high or too low. Whether that might be learning techniques to get over mistakes more quickly, or just manage anxiety in general. Most of us have some level of anxiety heading into a competition. How can you channel that and consistently perform? And I think that's really what we're trying to do with our athletes here.